Have you ever felt powerless in a world that seems to reward force over kindness? Have you wondered if one person can truly make a difference without raising their voice or fighting back? If you have, then you are in the right place. My name is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, though friends and sometimes newspapers call me Mahatma, which means great soul. And yes, I do wear simple clothes and walk barefoot, not because it's trendy, but because it reminds me of what really matters. I might not have invented the latest smartphone or gone viral on TikTok, but I've spent a lifetime learning something far more valuable. In this video, I want to share with you one lesson that guided my entire life. The power of nonviolence, not just as a strategy, but as a way of understanding and transforming the world. If you watch until the end, I promise you will walk away with a new perspective that can help you handle conflict, frustration, and even fear in your own life. Let me take you back to a time when I was just a young lawyer in South Africa, trying to make sense of a world full of inequality and injustice. I faced discrimination simply because of the color of my skin, and every day I had to decide, do I retaliate or do I act differently? It was in those moments, walking to work, reading the newspaper, and observing the reactions of others, that I began to understand the subtle yet immense strength of peaceful resistance. You see, nonviolence is not passive. It is an act of courage, a conscious choice to confront hatred with understanding, to confront fear with patience. I remember once being thrown off a train simply because of the ticket I held and the color of my skin. At that moment, I could have yelled, shouted, or struck back, but I didn't. Instead, I asked myself, what is the right action here? What will lead to justice without perpetuating harm? And this is where it gets practical for you today. You might not face a train incident, but how often do we encounter situations at work, in our families, or online, where anger and frustration urge us to lash out? What if, instead, you paused and asked, what is the nonviolent yet strong response here? This approach doesn't make you weak. In fact, it gives you clarity, respect, and a surprising amount of influence over others. Throughout my life, I learned that true power is not about dominating others, but about transforming ourselves. Nonviolence begins within, by controlling our impulses, understanding our fears, and cultivating compassion even for those who oppose us. Imagine how different our world could be if more people embraced this principle in their daily lives, not as a philosophy, but as a lived experience. So, as you watch the rest of this video, keep an open mind. The lessons I share are not abstract theories. They are actionable insights you can apply today, tomorrow, and in every moment of conflict or decision-making. By the end, I promise, you will have a perspective that empowers rather than exhausts you, and a method to face challenges with courage and integrity. Let me tell you about one of the most challenging moments in my life, the Salt March. In 1930, the British government imposed a tax on salt, a necessity for every household. It seemed small, but it represented something much larger: control, injustice, and oppression. Instead of picking up a weapon, we picked up courage and walked over 240 miles to make a stand. Every step was a statement, every footfall a declaration that oppression could be resisted without hurting anyone. The power of this march was not in numbers or force, but in intention. We were peaceful, yet determined. People joined from villages and towns, each person understanding that our strength came from unity, truth, and self-discipline. Nonviolence requires patience, but it also demands action. It is not silence. It is a powerful, deliberate form of engagement. Think about your own life. You may not be facing an empire, but you face situations where standing firm without anger can feel impossible. Maybe it's a colleague who undermines you, a friend who betrays trust, or social media debates that spiral into hostility. In each case, pause and ask, how can I respond with integrity, not aggression? How can I act to resolve rather than escalate? Nonviolence trains the mind as much as it guides action. When I fasted, not out of hunger, but as a method of self-discipline, I was not punishing others. I was mastering myself. Every moment of restraint teaches patience, humility, and empathy. And in doing so, you find a quiet strength that no conflict can shake. In today's fast-paced world, it is easy to be reactive. Notifications, headlines, and online arguments pull us into anger before we even think. But remember, true influence comes from control, not chaos. A single person who embodies calm, courage, and integrity can create ripples that touch hundreds, even thousands of lives. This is the essence of nonviolent leadership. It begins within and spreads outward. So whenever you feel powerless or frustrated, take a deep breath and consider, what would a nonviolent response look like here? Could you speak with empathy instead of scolding? Could you act with purpose instead of lashing out? Could you choose courage, patience, and clarity over impulsive action? I promise, if you apply this principle, even in small daily moments, your relationships, your work, and your own sense of peace will transform. You will discover a type of strength that comes not from force, but from wisdom, compassion, and consistency. Thank you for listening. I hope my experiences provide a hint, a small light for your own journey. Remember, even the smallest act of patience, kindness, or courage can ripple outward and change the world. This is my lesson. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi.